Now that we've talked about Agile mindset and principles, let's take a closer look at how Agile is actually implemented through frameworks and approaches that teams use to plan, build, and deliver value. In this topic, we'll cover the most widely used non-scaled Agile frameworks, including Scrum, Kanban, extreme programming, feature-driven development, dynamic systems development method, and Agile Unified Process. The PMP exam expects you to understand what each of these frameworks is designed for, how they differ, and when to use them. Not to memorize every detail, but to apply the concepts in realistic project scenarios. Let's start with Scrum, the most popular Agile framework. You'll want to be familiar with the 3 roles. The Scrum Master is the servant leader who removes obstacles and helps the team follow Agile principles. The product owner is responsible for maximizing value by managing the product backlog. The developers are a self-managing team who plan and deliver the work during the sprint. Scrum uses fixed-length time-box sprints, typically ranging from 1 to 4 weeks long, where teams deliver a usable product increment. Key Scrum events include sprint planning to define the goal and select backlog items, daily Scrum or stand-up for team coordination, sprint review to gather feedback, and sprint retrospective to reflect and improve the process. The core artifacts are the product backlog, which holds all desired features prioritized by the product owner, and the sprint backlog, which contains the selected work for the current sprint. You'll also want to understand the definition of done, which sets the standard for when work is considered complete. Next, let's look at Kanban, a flow-based Agile method that focuses on visualizing work, limiting work in progress, and improving flow efficiency. Unlike Scrum, Kanban doesn't use sprints or time boxes. Instead, teams use a Kanban board to track work as it moves through stages like to do, in progress, and done. This helps identify bottlenecks and manage work more effectively. A key concept in Kanban is setting work in progress limits, which prevents overload and encourages teams to finish work before starting new tasks. Work is delivered continuously, and teams track metrics like cycle time and throughput to improve predictability. Kanban is lightweight and flexible. It doesn't introduce new roles or ceremonies, making it easy to apply within existing workflows. For the exam, be ready for questions about visualizing flow, work in progress limits, and incremental improvement. The next one is extreme programming. XP is one of the most technically disciplined Agile frameworks. It's designed to improve software quality and responsiveness to change through a set of engineering best practices. These include pair programming, test-driven development, continuous integration, refactoring, and maintaining a simple design. XP values frequent releases, customer involvement, and collective code ownership. It's especially useful when requirements are expected to change rapidly and technical quality is a top priority. Another framework to know is feature-driven development. FDD is a model-driven, architecture-centric process that focuses on delivering tangible, working software in the form of features, which are small client-valued functions. It follows a 5-step process. Develop an overall model, build a features list, plan by feature, design by feature, and build by feature. FDD emphasizes strong upfront design, domain modeling, and frequent short iterations. While it's more prescriptive than other Agile approaches, it works well in larger teams that benefit from a clear structure. You should also be familiar with Dynamic Systems Development Method, DSDM, emphasizing delivering on time and within budget by fixing schedule and cost while allowing scope to vary. One of its signature practices is Moscow prioritization, which stands for must have, should have, could have, and won't have, a structured way to prioritize requirements based on business value. DSDM also promotes active user involvement and frequent delivery, with clearly defined roles and strong governance. Another framework you may encounter is Agile Unified Process, or AgileUP. It adapts the rational unified process to be more agile by focusing on iterative development, disciplined team roles, and producing just enough documentation. AgileUP breaks work into phases like inception, elaboration, construction, and transition, but applies Agile practices like time boxing and evolving requirements throughout. It's especially useful in environments that require structure but still want to stay responsive to change. Now, we'll go through 10 Agile practice questions that will challenge your knowledge of framework mechanics, team roles, engineering practices, delivery flow, and feedback loops in fast-moving Agile environments. Let's get started with our next question. Question 21. A Scrum team has completed 3 sprints, delivering working increments each time. However, the product owner reports that stakeholders still seem unclear about the overall project direction and worry the team may be building functionality that will not meet end-user expectations. The team feels confident in their process and delivery pace. What is the most appropriate response? A. Encourage the product owner to provide more detailed acceptance criteria and scope definitions before sprint planning. B. Recommend that the product owner engage stakeholders to gather feedback and revalidate backlog priorities. C. Suggest adding a formal stakeholder review midway through each sprint to verify the team is on track. D. Ask the team to increase velocity by delivering more features per sprint to build stakeholder confidence. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is B. This question is testing your ability to assess how Scrum supports transparency, stakeholder engagement, and feedback-driven iteration. Even when a Scrum team is delivering working software, stakeholders may still feel disconnected if the feedback loop isn't strong enough. The best way to fix that isn't more documentation or speed, it's more meaningful collaboration. Choice B encourages the product owner to actively reconnect with stakeholders, gather feedback, and use that insight to refocus backlog priorities. It respects team autonomy while strengthening alignment. Choice A is incorrect. It focuses too much on upfront scope detail, which is more predictive than Agile. Scrum teams expect evolving requirements, not fully locked ones. Choice C is incorrect. It introduces a formal stakeholder checkpoint mid-sprint, which breaks Scrum's cadence. Scrum already includes a sprint review for stakeholder feedback, and mid-sprint interventions risk disrupting flow. Choice D is incorrect. It assumes that faster delivery will solve the alignment issue, but increasing velocity for the sake of perception undermines sustainable pace and does nothing to address stakeholder concerns about value. Let's move on to the next question if you're ready. Question 22. Midway through a sprint, a team member asks the Scrum Master to reassign a user story to another developer because they feel it's outside their expertise and don't want to risk delaying the sprint goal. The Scrum Master agrees and begins rearranging the assignments to balance the workload. What should the project manager do? A. Support the Scrum Master's decision to reassign tasks, ensuring the team meets the sprint commitment. B. Advise the Scrum Master that the team should self-organize and collectively decide how to handle the user story. C. Ask the product owner to update the backlog and create a new task that better matches each team member's skill set. D. Recommend holding a mid-sprint planning session to redistribute work based on availability and expertise. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is B. This question is testing your understanding of Scrum team structure, especially around the principle of self-organization. Scrum teams are self-managing, meaning they decide how to deliver the work without micromanagement or top-down task assignments. Choice B is the best option because it encourages the Scrum Master to empower the team, not take control. Rather than reassigning work, the team should discuss the issue and decide together how to move forward. Choice A is incorrect. While it might sound reasonable, it reinforces the wrong behavior. The Scrum Master isn't a task manager. Their role is to facilitate, not direct. Choice C is incorrect. It involves the product owner whose responsibility is managing the what, not the how. They don't assign or tailor tasks to individual team members. Choice D is incorrect. It introduces a mid-sprint planning session, which disrupts the cadence and violates Scrum's respect for the sprint structure. Planning happens at the start, and a team adapts within the sprint. Let's move on to the next question if you're ready. Question 23. During a sprint review, stakeholders express concern that some key features demonstrated do not align with current market needs. They propose changes that could significantly impact the next sprint. The product owner wants to incorporate the feedback, but the developers are unsure how to adjust their work without disrupting the sprint process. What is the most appropriate action for the team? A. Schedule an additional backlog refinement session during the current sprint to reprioritize work mid-sprint. B. Review the stakeholder feedback during the retrospective to identify ways to improve stakeholder alignment. C. Use the upcoming sprint planning session to incorporate the feedback and adjust the backlog accordingly. D. Invite stakeholders to attend the next daily Scrum to help clarify their expectations and promote transparency. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is C. This question tests your understanding of Scrum events, particularly how to incorporate stakeholder feedback without disrupting the current sprint. Scrum encourages adaptation, but within the boundaries of its structured cadence. The sprint planning session is the appropriate event to evaluate new insights and adjust the backlog in a focused and time-boxed way. Using sprint planning to respond to stakeholder concerns allows the product owner and team to collaboratively realign priorities without compromising the current sprint goal or breaking the rhythm of delivery. It upholds Scrum's balance of flexibility and discipline. Choice A is incorrect. It suggests mid-sprint reprioritization, which violates the principle of sprint commitment and introduces instability. Choice B is incorrect. The retrospective is focused on process improvement, not on backlog refinement or stakeholder alignment. Choice D is incorrect. The daily Scrum is meant for the development team only, including stakeholders, disrupts its purpose, and breaks the team's autonomy and focus. Let's move on to the next question if you're ready. Question 24. During a mid-sprint sync, the product owner notices that several backlog items marked as done by the team are missing key documentation and integration testing. The team argues that the items meet their definition of done and that documentation can be added later. What should the project manager do? A. Propose reviewing the definition of done during the next retrospective to identify documentation and testing gaps. B. Recommend that the Scrum Master revise the team's workflow to include documentation as a required final task. C. Encourage the product owner to clarify documentation expectations with each developer during backlog refinement. D. Work with the Scrum Master and team to revisit and clarify the definition of done to ensure shared understanding. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is D. This question is testing your understanding of how Scrum promotes transparency through well-defined artifacts, especially the definition of done. A shared understanding of what done means is essential for ensuring quality and consistency. If there's misalignment or conflicting interpretations, that signals the need for clarification. Working with the Scrum Master and team to revisit and align on the definition of done helps ensure that everyone is on the same page regarding documentation, testing, and completion criteria. This collaborative approach reinforces quality without assigning blame. Choice A is incorrect. Waiting until the retrospective delays resolution of a known quality issue, when it should be addressed promptly to avoid recurring problems. Choice B is incorrect. It places responsibility solely on the Scrum Master to revise the workflow, which contradicts the team-driven nature of Scrum. The Scrum Master facilitates, they don't dictate process steps. Choice C is incorrect. It inappropriately places responsibility on the product owner to manage team-level execution details. The team owns the definition of done, not the product owner. Let's move on to the next question if you're ready. Question 25. A Kanban team has recently implemented a work-in-progress limit of 3 items per workflow state. However, team members are frequently starting new work instead of helping to finish items already in progress, causing delays and uneven flow. What should the project manager do? A. Increase the work-in-progress limit to accommodate the team's preference for multitasking. B. Ask the team to review how work-in-progress limits are supporting collaboration and flow. C. Assign specific team members to monitor and enforce work-in-progress limits daily. D. Have each team member complete their own tasks until all current tasks are complete. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is B. This question tests your understanding of Kanban principles, particularly how work-in-progress limits are used to improve flow and promote team collaboration. When team members start new work instead of finishing what's already in progress, it leads to delays, bottlenecks, and uneven workflow. defeating the purpose of work-in-progress limits. Choice B is the best option because it asks the team to reflect on how their work-in-progress limits are supporting collaboration and flow. This aligns with Kanban's emphasis on inspect and adapt thinking, where the team takes ownership of improving its own system based on real observations and outcomes. Choice A is incorrect. Increasing the work-in-progress limit undermines the whole purpose of having limits in the first place. It encourages multitasking and prolongs delivery cycles. Choice C is incorrect. Assigning team members to enforce work-in-progress limits daily introduces a command and control approach that contradicts Kanban's philosophy of decentralized decision-making and team ownership. Choice D is incorrect. It promotes individual task ownership instead of encouraging the team to swarm on unfinished work, which is essential for improving flow and completing tasks efficiently in Kanban. Let's move on to the next question if you're ready. Question 26. A development team using extreme programming practices is struggling with frequent integration conflicts and unstable builds. Team members are committing code at the end of the day without coordination. What should the project manager do to improve integration stability? A. Encourage the team to pair program only during high-risk features to save time. B. Introduce test-driven development to identify conflicts earlier. C. Implement continuous integration and require multiple daily commits. D. Ask the Scrum Master to assign specific integration windows for each developer. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is C. This question tests your understanding of extreme programming engineering practices, particularly around maintaining integration stability. Frequent integration conflicts and unstable builds are classic signs that the team is not integrating code regularly enough, which hinders rapid feedback and increases rework. Choice C is the best option because it recommends implementing continuous integration, a core XP practice that involves integrating code multiple times a day and running automated tests with each commit. This ensures that issues are caught early and the codebase remains stable, which is vital for high-quality incremental delivery. Choice A is incorrect. Pair programming only during high-risk features dilutes one of XP's fundamental practices. Pairing is meant to be applied consistently, not selectively. Choice B is incorrect. While test-driven development is valuable for improving code quality and test coverage, it does not directly address the issue of integration timing and coordination. Choice D is incorrect. Assigning specific integration windows creates a top-down structure that limits collaboration and agility. XP favors a shared, continuous integration approach, not rigid scheduling. Let's move on to the next question if you're ready. Question 27. An Agile coach observes that a team following XP values rarely reflects on feedback from customers and relies heavily on upfront planning. As a result, the product is not evolving to meet user needs. What should the project manager do? A. Recommends simplifying documentation to focus on executable specifications. B. Introduce weekly customer demos to gather early feedback and guide development. C. Invite customers to submit feedback via surveys before starting each release. D. Schedule customer walkthroughs during project planning to finalize detailed requirements. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is B. This question tests your understanding of extreme programming values, especially the importance of customer feedback and responsiveness to change. The team in this scenario is relying too heavily on upfront planning and not engaging users frequently, which limits their ability to adapt the product based on evolving needs. Choice B is the best option because it recommends introducing weekly customer demos, which creates a regular opportunity to gather early feedback. This aligns directly with XP's emphasis on continuous collaboration with the customer and ensures the product evolves in line with real-world usage and expectations. Choice A is incorrect. Simplifying documentation supports XP's value of simplicity, but it doesn't address the core issue, which is the lack of customer input during development. Choice C is incorrect. Collecting surveys before each release introduces delayed feedback and lacks the immediacy and interactivity that XP promotes. Choice D is incorrect. Scheduling walkthroughs during upfront planning reinforces a predictive mindset, which runs counter to XP's adaptive, feedback-driven approach. Let's move on to the next question if you're ready. Question 28. A product development team is working in an environment that emphasizes modeling, planning, and delivering features every few days. The team is organized around delivering business value in small functional increments. Stakeholders want visibility into both planning and results. What should the project manager emphasize to align with FDD practices? A. Organize work around client value features and deliver them iteratively. B. Prioritize responding to change over following a detailed upfront design. C. Use feature burndown charts to track delivery progress and performance. D. Focus on achieving team consensus before modeling or designing features. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is A. This question is testing your understanding of feature-driven development, which emphasizes delivering small, client-valued features iteratively. FDD blends modeling and planning with regular, meaningful output, giving stakeholders visibility into both design and delivery. Choice A is the best option because it reflects the core of FDD, organizing work around features that deliver business value and delivering them in a structured, iterative manner. This practice ensures that planning and progress stay tightly linked to stakeholder priorities. Choice B is incorrect. While responding to change is a key Agile value, FDD is more model and design-driven than frameworks like Scrum or XP. It favors some upfront structure over pure adaptability. Choice C is incorrect. Feature burndown charts are not a standard FDD artifact. While tracking progress is important, this choice leans more towards Scrum-style monitoring than true FDD practice. Choice D is incorrect. Requiring team consensus before modeling can slow down progress and is not specific to FDD. FDD relies on subject matter experts and class owners, not full team consensus, to lead design efforts efficiently. Let's move on to the next question if you're ready. Question 29. A project team is working under tight budget and timeline constraints. Senior stakeholders have requested several new features during delivery, putting pressure on the schedule. The team follows the dynamic systems development method to ensure delivery remains on track. What should the project manager do first to stay aligned with DSDM principles? A. Reassess the schedule and adjust the delivery milestones to accommodate new requests. B. Organize a formal change control board to review and approve the new features. C. Apply Moscow prioritization and collaborate with stakeholders to defer lower priority features. D. Recommend adding a short iteration to explore feasibility before adjusting the plan. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is C. This question is testing your ability to apply the principles of DSDM in a constrained project environment. DSDM assumes that time and cost are fixed, so the way to handle changing demands is by adjusting scope, not deadlines or budget. The core technique used in DSDM is Moscow prioritization, which ensures that must-have items are delivered, while could-have or should-have items may be deferred if needed. Choice C is the best option because it directly applies Moscow prioritization and encourages stakeholder collaboration, both of which are aligned with DSDM principles and help maintain delivery discipline. Choice A is incorrect. In DSDM, adjusting the schedule undermines the fixed time box principle. The framework is built on predictable timelines and budgets. Choice B is incorrect. While governance is important, DSDM emphasizes active stakeholder involvement and lightweight processes over formal change control structures. Choice D is incorrect. Adding an iteration could stretch the timeline or impact delivery cost, which contradicts DSDM's emphasis on fixed time and cost. Let's move on to the next question if you're ready. Question 30. A project manager is leading an agile team that must meet internal audit standards, maintain traceability across iterations, and support post-release maintenance. The team values agility but faces pressure to align with organizational policies and quality gates. What is the most appropriate approach for the project manager to take? A. Adopt Agile Unified Process to tailor agile practices while meeting compliance needs. B. Use Scrum with minor adaptations and document deviations separately for audits. C. Apply feature-driven development to focus on rapid delivery of prioritized features. D. Use DSDM to fix cost and time while allowing flexibility in scope delivery. You can pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The correct answer is A. This question assesses your ability to apply Agile in regulated or structured environments where compliance, traceability, and governance are essential. In these contexts, teams often need more than lightweight frameworks. They require a disciplined, agile approach that supports both flexibility and formal oversight. Choice A is the best option because Agile Unified Process offers a blend of iterative delivery and structured lifecycle phases. It provides enough formality to meet compliance standards, such as traceability and auditability, while still supporting Agile values like adaptability and customer collaboration. Choice B is incorrect. Adapting Scrum and documenting exceptions may work temporarily, but it's a reactive workaround, not a robust or sustainable strategy for regulated environments. Choice C is incorrect. While FDD emphasizes delivery of features, it doesn't provide the governance structure needed to address audit trails, traceability, or maintenance planning. Choice D is incorrect. DSDM allows for flexibility in scope and can work well with fixed time and cost, but it lacks the specific traceability and post-release support structures that this scenario demands. Amazing job in finishing 10 Agile framework questions. That's a total of 30 Agile questions mastered so far. Every question you tackle sharpens your exam readiness. When you're ready, I will see you in the next topic.